The conspiracy theory known as Paul is Dead emerged in the late 1960s and gained widespread attention among Beatles fans and mystery enthusiasts. According to this theory, Paul McCartney allegedly died in a car accident in November 1966 at the height of the Beatles' fame. To prevent the band's career from collapsing and to avoid the worldwide shock that his death would cause, the remaining members, along with their record label, supposedly orchestrated a secret plan to replace him with a lookalike, referred to by conspiracy theorists as Fall, a combination of fake and Paul. Supporters of this theory claim that the Beatles deliberately left hidden clues in their songs and album covers to subtly reveal the truth. One of the most frequently cited examples is the track Revolution 9 from the White Album, which is said to contain a backward message that allegedly says, "Turn me on, dead man," when played in reverse. Another famous clue is the Abbey Road album cover, where the four band members are shown crossing a zebra crossing. In the image, Paul appears barefoot, out of step with the others, and holding a cigarette in his right hand, despite being left-handed, which theorists interpret as a sign that he is the deceased. The scene has been viewed as a funeral procession. John represents the preacher, dressed in white, Ringo the Undertaker, in a black suit, Paul the corpse, barefoot and with closed eyes, and George the gravedigger, in denim. Although there is no solid evidence to support the theory, it continues to captivate generations and remains a frequent topic in documentaries, books, and online discussions. The cover of the iconic album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, released by the Beatles in 1967, is widely regarded as one of the most iconic and analyzed images in music history. With its colorful psychedelic design and rich symbolism, it features the band members surrounded by dozens of historical, cultural, and fictional figures, all carefully selected to fit the album's artistic concept. However, what many people don't know is that several notable personalities were initially intended to appear on the cover, but were removed before the final version was printed. One of the most controversial names was Adolf Hitler, who was included in the early drafts but ultimately discarded for obvious reasons. Jesus Christ was also originally planned for inclusion. But after John Lennon's infamous statement that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, which sparked outrage and record burnings in the US, the group decided to avoid further controversy by leaving him out. Everyday Chemistry is an album supposedly created by the Beatles in a parallel universe. Released anonymously in 2009 by someone identifying himself as James Richards, the record is said to be a collection of Beatles songs that were never released in our reality. According to Richards, he accidentally traveled to an alternate dimension where the Beatles never broke up and continued releasing albums throughout the 1970s. The album, which is available online, is actually a well-crafted mashup of solo tracks from the former Beatles, edited to sound like brand new songs by the band. The story has since become an internet legend. After spending some time in Los Angeles, John Lennon returned to New York in 1974, and one night with his assistant May Pong, he claimed to have seen a UFO. The couple, who were in a relationship following Lennon's separation from Yoko Ono, were about to go out for pizza when they spotted the object in the sky. Pang confirmed Lennon's account, describing how he was standing on the balcony, looking out over the river at night. He called her over to witness a silent, glowing object, with white lights and a solid red light on the bottom. The two watched the UFO for several minutes, completely forgetting about dinner. Lennon then called photographer Bob Gruen, who contacted the police and local media. Interestingly, other residents in the area also reported seeing the same object. This mysterious experience was later documented by Lennon himself in the liner notes of his 1974 album Walls and Bridges, marking it as a unique and unexplained moment in his life.
Over here, up there, I saw a UFO, and it went down the river, turned right at the United Nations, turned left, and then down the river. It wasn't a helicopter, and it wasn't a balloon, and it was so near.
And it looked what, sort of round, white, luminescent, and silent?
Silent, and it looked dark, like black or grey in the middle, and had white lights, just looked like light bulbs, you know? Just going off, on, blink, 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 round the bottom, and on top was a red light.
In the film Yellow Submarine, 1968, there's a curious and rather dark moment involving Ringo Starr. In one scene, Ringo delivers a melancholic monologue in which he speaks about his loneliness and lack of purpose, comparing his life to that of Eleanor Rigby, the character from the famous Beatles song. He says lines like, "Nothing ever happens to me," and even suggests jumping into the River Mersey, though he ironically adds that it looks like it might rain. The depressive tone of the speech has led some to interpret it as a subtle reference to suicide, something quite unusual given the otherwise light-hearted nature of the film. Although delivered with humor, the scene stands out for its strangeness and emotional weight, creating a stark contrast with the film's otherwise colorful, psychedelic, and optimistic tone.
Woe is me. Liverpool can be a lonely place on a Saturday night. And this is only Thursday morning.
Compared with my life, Eleanor Rigby's was a gay, mad world.
Nothing ever happens to me.
I feel like an old, splintered drumstick.
I jump into the River Mersey, but it looks like rain. Nothing ever happens to me.
On June 3, 1964, the Beatles had one final recording session scheduled to complete the album A Hard Day's Night before heading out on tour. However, Ringo Starr fell seriously ill with tonsillitis and fainted during a photo shoot that morning, making him unable to participate. That same day, John, Paul, and George recorded 3 demos. No Reply, later released on Beatles for Sale; You Know What to Do, a George Harrison composition that remained unreleased until Anthology 1 in 1995; and It's For You, written by Paul for Cilla Black, with a partial demo surfacing online in 2016. Shortly afterward, the Beatles released the Long Tall Sally EP, featuring 3 covers and the original I Call Your Name. This sequence of events raises an interesting question. What would have been the 14th track on A Hard Day's Night if Ringo hadn't gotten sick? There's speculation that I Call Your Name might have originally been intended for the album, and that a cover song for George may have been planned for the EP instead. If that were the case, Ringo would still be left without a song on the album, which opens up the intriguing possibility that a now lost, unrecorded, and unknown track may have once been planned for him, only to disappear forever before being captured on tape. The alleged 1976 Beatles recording session at Davlin Studios in Los Angeles is one of the most intriguing and obscure rumors surrounding the band. According to the claim, all 4 members reunited in secret to record 5 tracks. But the session reportedly ended in arguments and conflict. What makes the story even more mysterious is the claim that Paul McCartney allegedly threatened to sue a journalist to suppress the information. That detail alone has fueled speculation and conspiracy theories among Beatles fans for decades. However, the complete absence of any concrete recording, reportedly erased at the band's request, makes it difficult to determine whether the session ever truly happened. The mystery remains unsolved. The alleged sighting of Paul McCartney's decapitated head in the music video for Free as a Bird is one of many examples of how the myths and conspiracy theories surrounding the Beatles continue to thrive. In the video, there is a brief moment when the reflection in the window of a police car appears to form the silhouette of a pale, bodiless face, something that some fans have interpreted as a macabre reference to the Paul is dead theory. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that the image is simply a reflection of a tree. An accidental visual effect which, when viewed in the eerie and cryptic context of the video, can certainly appear sinister. It's a classic case of pareidolia, the brain creating meaning from random imagery. Even as nothing more than a visual illusion, this detail feeds into the band's enduring mystique, proving once again how the fan obsession with hidden clues can turn even a simple coincidence into a chilling legend. This mystery is deep and disturbing, and honestly, it deserves a full video of its own. So if you're curious and want me to dig deeper into this case, let me know in the comments. The I Am a Phony org is a controversial group closely tied to the infamous Paul is dead conspiracy theory. They are best known for the Rotten Apple video series, which gained significant attention during the mid-2000s. Founded by Martin Hirlin, the project began as an investigative dive into Beatles-related mysteries, but quickly spiraled into increasingly absurd evidence, disturbing symbolism, and even reports of potentially criminal behavior. There are many strange connections involving Neil Aspinall, the Beatles' former assistant and longtime head of Apple Corps, which have raised suspicions about his possible involvement. The leader of Yamophony was allegedly employed at Aspinall's company, and shockingly, the group's domain was once hosted on Paul McCartney's official website, with a mailing address linked to Ringo Starr. Things became even creepier when a forum user claiming to relay messages from a dying man with secrets vanished exactly when Aspinall passed away. On top of that, large financial transfers traced back to Aspinall's business led some to believe he may have secretly funded the operation. Although the group collapsed in 2008, the mystery continues. Some theories link I Am a Phony not only to Paul is dead, but to John Lennon's assassination, the occult influence of Aleister Crowley, and even covert intelligence battles between the UK and the US. It's important to emphasize, however, that nobody should attempt to contact or investigate former members of Yamophony. Several have been described as dangerous and unstable individuals. with rumors of serious discussions about plotting to murder Paul McCartney himself. While much of Yemophoni's public presence was built on riddles and cryptic videos, the group behind it may have included active and possibly threatening figures. For safety, it's highly advised to avoid the old Facebook group, website forums, and any communication with those involved. I'll consider doing a full deep dive if enough people ask. If you like this video and want to see more mysterious Beatles content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I'm just getting started, and your support helps a lot. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.